Hello, welcome to Picky Assist. In this tutorial, we will demonstrate how to integrate ChatGPT into your Picky Assist account as a mini app using our mini app builder. By the end of this tutorial, you will learn how to integrate ChatGPT for any business use cases, right inside your Picky Assist account. We will use a real example to learn this integration. Let's assume that an HR would like to analyze the candidate's CV and get a short summary of their CV for a quicker decision without going through the entire CV manually. For instance, an HR can extract the following information from the CV: employment history, education background, skill match, or any other information required to analyze and extract from the CV. Let's see how it works. We will copy and paste a CV and select the chat completion template to summarize the CV, then submit the form. Please wait while ChatGPT analyzes the details. Fantastic! We have received the response as required. We can see that, a short summary of the CV. Then, employment history with period. Education background at a glance. Key skills, as point-wise. Now, let's learn how to build this mini app using the Mini App Builder and Picky Assist connector without any coding. To make this integration work, we will use the ChatGPT API, and you need to pass 3 parameters to the API to generate a response. These parameters are system, assistant, and user. Through the system variable, we need to pass the instruction to the ChatGPT engine on how to behave. In our case, the system variable is HR helpful for analyzing the CV of candidates. Through the assistant variable, we need to pass the search query. In our case, we need to pass the CV details that need to be analyzed. Through the user variable, we need to pass the information required from the CV. In our case, we need to analyze employment history, education background, skill match, etc. Now, let's get started with the integration. The first step is to create a connector in your Picky Assist account. Go to More menu, Automations, then click on Connectors. Click on the Add button, give it a name, such as ChatGPT, and then click on the Create button. Next, click on the Mini App Builder button. You can see that our Mini App Builder is open. Give a button name and description. This button name and description will appear to your user something like this. The name you input here will show to your users like this. And the description will show below that as shown here. If you wish to customize the icon and color, you can do this. Let's select another icon for the mini app. And let me select another color for the icon. The next step is to set up the trigger. Here, we need to select the trigger to show a form, because we have to collect the input from the users, which will then be passed to ChatGPT for processing. We need to have 3 form fields. The first field is the system. Let's input system in the field label and give it a description as tell the behavior of the ChatGPT. Then select the type as text area and click on the Add button. We need another form field called prompt. We can give it a description as copy and paste CV here. Select the type as text area, make this field mandatory, and click on Add. Now, we need one more form field called Chat Completion Template. We can give it a description as please select the template to instruct ChatGPT what kind of data need to extract. Then select the type as drop-down. As we select the drop-down, another option appears on the screen, where we need to input the option name and option value. These options help you to give multiple options for your users to select. You need to give a name for the options, then need to add a value. In our case, let's create 3 options and their values. I have entered 3 options, and their value as you are seeing now. So the first option is to extract the contact information from the CV, and the second option is to summarize the CV. Here you can see the value. I have given instructions on what to summarize. You can make changes as required by your business requirements. You can add more options and values as required by your business. Now we have all the form fields ready for our mini app. As you may have noticed, there are various options available in the mini app, that can be configured based on your requirements. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will be focusing solely on the pre-fill feature. The pre-fill feature allows you to pre-populate the form with data, enabling your users to quickly make changes or use the information as it is. This feature is optional and can save your users time by eliminating the need to manually enter data if no changes are required. To pre-fill the system prompt, click on the Add More Fields button and select Field from the drop-down menu. Next, choose System from the list of available options. Manually type in the desired value. In our case, let's input you are an HR assistant who helps to analyze candidate CVs. Click on the Save button to save. Then open the mini app and select our app. You can see all the form fields we have created is showing here. See the system field, which we have pre-filled, showing that data here. Your users can make the changes easily if required. Now, we have to fill in any sample value and submit this form, so that the connector gets the required input that we need to use further. So let me fill in the details and submit. You may ignore the response now, we will set up the response later. Now close the mini app and click on the refresh icon here. You can see that now we got the option to create steps in the connector. Now what happened in the background is that when we fill and submit the form, the data from the form is mapped into the connector. You can see the log here, click on it and see that the system, prompt, and chat completion values are received here. Now we have to build steps in the connector, that is instructing the connector to take actions whenever form data is received from our ChatGPT mini app. As explained earlier, we will be using ChatGPT API to power the integrations, so we need the API key of the ChatGPT. Please log into your OpenAI account, then navigate to My Accounts. Then click on View API Keys, then click on Create New Secret Key button, and complete the secret key generation. Copy your secret key. We need this in our Picky Assist connector to make HTTP requests to the ChatGPT. Now let's save the ChatGPT secret key into the Picky Assist platform as data storage, which can be reused in another connector as well. So click on Connector URL, then click on Manage Data, then from the pop-up click on Add icon, then give a name. Let's give as checked_token, then in the value save the token, then click on Save button. Now, click on Create Step. Then enable actions, then search for HTTP request. Then click on Settings, and here we need to configure the ChatGPT API. So let's fill in the details, select the method as post, then copy and paste the URL here. Then click on the Header tab, then click on Add Header, then copy and paste the values. We are setting the content type as JSON. After that, click on the Authorization tab, then click on Authorization Type as a bearer token. Then click on the attribute icon, and select the data storage where we saved the ChatGPT API token earlier. Don't worry about this format. At the time of sending the system, we'll automatically replace this variable with the actual API token value. Next, click on the Body tab, then select the body type as raw, then copy this code and paste it here. Now click on the Test button. And you can see the request is a success, and the response from ChatGPT is mapped automatically. We have to now map the data from the mini app form fields to the ChatGPT, so let's do that. Click on the body. You can see that there are 3 parameters: system, assistant, and user, so we need to map the values from the mini app forms here. To do this, click on the attribute and select the connector name. Here you can see all the form field name from the mini app. Now we have to map each form field to the respective field to the ChatGPT. Let's start doing this. Here you need to make sure that you are inputting the attribute inside the double quotes. Don't make any other changes to the code. Now click on Save, and our settings in the connector is successfully completed. Now we have to map the response from the connector step to the Mini App Builder. For doing this, click on Mini App Builder again, then go to the Response tab and select the plain text. And click on the attributes. Then select the connector attribute and expand the HTTP and click on the connector name, then click Choices, click on 0, then click on the message and then click on Content. Now have mapped the response from the ChatGPT to the Mini app successfully. We have another feature, Copy to Clipboard. Once this is enabled, then the response from the ChatGPT will automatically copy into your user clipboard, which is easy for them to paste it into another application. If you wish to share the ChatGPT Mini app with other users, then click on Permissions and select the roles to share the app and click on Save button. Now we have completed the integration of ChatGPT as Mini app inside the Picky Assist. Let's test the integration by analyzing a CV. Let me open the Mini app. Then let's copy and paste details from the CV. I want to summarize the CV, so let me select the Summarize CV option, and then click on Submit button. Great, we got the summary of the CV as shown here, and our integration is working as it should be. Let's summarize the integration. We have created a connector, and then created a Mini app with 3 forms. After that, we created a step in the connector that triggers the ChatGPT API whenever the Mini app form is submitted. Then we mapped the request from the Mini app to the ChatGPT API. After that, we have mapped the response from the ChatGPT to the Mini app. Kindly note that ChatGPT is not a free service, so after the free trial period, you must add a credit card to your OpenAI account. Please be aware that ChatGPT's billing is based on the length of your input and output text. Therefore, the more text you input and output, the higher your bill will be. Please keep this in mind when using the service. Not only ChatGPT, with Picky Assist Connector and Mini App Builder you can integrate any third-party application the same way we did now. Hope you have enjoyed this video. To get more similar ChatGPT inspirational videos, ask questions, and interact with our AI and automation experts, please join our Facebook community today. Thank you for watching this video.